Lift me up, 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 lift me up.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Launchpad. My name is Grant Soffer, and today I'm joined by Truth and Lies. Truth and Lies,
What?
how are you guys?
Thank you for having us out, man. It's good to be here.
It's really good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you guys. So we were talking a little bit beforehand, just kind of about like some experiences you guys have had in the past year and kind of reflecting on a little bit of that. I want to hear from you guys just in the past year, like what's been the coolest experience or most memorable experience for you guys?
I mean, getting to go on our first tour, like post COVID, what we never toured before COVID. We wrote most of the tracks that came out during COVID. And most of those came out over the last like year or so. And then after that, we were able to start touring. So the last year has been our first ever time on the road playing shows as Truth and Lies. So for me, that's the peak moment for sure.
And I mean,
That's awesome.
another one for me is that we got to play Electric Zoo here in New York, which is where we live. And it was the first festival I ever went to. I think it was your first festival or
My second one.
Yeah. So like it was pretty full circle moment.
Full
circle.
circle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
I mean,
was
we got to do EZoo, we got to do Beyond Wonderland, we got to do EDC Vegas. So all the festivals that we've been either wanting to go to
Yeah.
just as a consumer or like wanting to play as a DJ, we got to do all that in the last year. So it's been really nice.
That's awesome. Do you guys have another one on the list that you're hoping to hit soon?
Yeah, we're playing Ooby Dooby this year, which we really wanted to play, or is it Ubby Dubby? I never really know.
I don't know how to say it, but
Yeah,
it sounds right. I like Ooby Dooby just because it sounds better, but Ubby Dubby sounds fun too.
Yeah, I think it's Ooby Dooby. So we'll go with that. So we're playing Ooby Dooby, and then this year we need to write a ton of music. So that's
Mhm.
mainly what we're focusing on for this year.
at least for the next couple months.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have some more stuff to announce later this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about going back to Miami for Music Week.
Oh yeah.
So it was a
Ooh,
fun
that's
one.
gonna be fun.
Yeah, we don't miss Miami Music Week. That's something we do every year for sure.
That's
Yeah, so-
awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, I want to hear the story of how you guys first got into music and how you guys met each other, how the Truth and Lies project took off. Like, kind of walk me through that backstory a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So we met because I worked at a record store. We both live in New York City. So
Okay.
I used to work at a record store in Midtown. And at that time, Ryan was working on music with another guy who I was coworkers with. So all three of us started like throwing shows together. We started like doing like these black light paint parties in the city.
And this is like 10 years, 10 years
this
ago.
this was a minute. This was a long time ago. And then we started making like some Latin music. We started making like some trap music, all sorts of stuff. And then eventually Ryan and I split off from that project and we created Truth and Lies. So we've been making music under Truth and Lies for
2016 is
like
when we first put something out.
6 years, 7 years or so. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't very good at first, and then we.
Oh no, it was awful at first.
So
It was truly really bad.
I mean, it's just like anybody who's learning how to produce. You don't just start off making great tunes.
It wasn't just not very good. It was just very not good.
Yeah, and before that, I went to school. I grew up playing music, and I went to school for classical music.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I have two degrees in classical music, and I got out of school, and I was just not happy with the classical world. I wasn't getting the right gigs. I played trumpet, and I also had a facial injury, so I was like turning stuff down because I couldn't play, and I got really discouraged by it, and it was a little bit toxic in a way that, as you know, it was just there's not many jobs, kind of toxic. I just fell out of like real love with it, and I got into dance music by playing. I started playing in a bar in Harlem, and with the guy who was the bartender at the bar was Alex Seaver, who is Mako. And we would talk all the time. We went to school together. We knew each other for a long time, and he was a bartender at the bar. And now he writes music for he writes the League of Legends stuff. So it's crazy, but that's where I started getting into like DJing, and I met this guy, and then we met Ian. And that's how we went from there.
Is he really writing for League of Legends?
He wrote
That's awesome.
score.
Yeah, that's sick.
So
I grew up in a musical household, so it was a rule in my house that I had to play at least one instrument at all times. So I grew up. I played piano and violin at first, and then I picked up drums in second grade, and I've been playing drums my whole life. So I've always been playing music, like I literally had to in order to get fed and stuff in my
Mhm.
house. Um, and then I went to Icon Music Production School, and I went to SAE for audio engineering. So we have quite a bit of a jumbled background in terms of musical education.
I think we've covered all the different areas
Yeah,
possible.
pretty much all the music schools that you could possibly go to.
Yeah, it sounds like it. You guys have a pretty extensive background in it. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. How do you think having like that really, diverse musical background helps you guys as a duo when you're producing music and making your own stuff?
Well, certainly from a technical standpoint, it helps quite a bit. Like Ryan is crazy good with like arrangements and melodies and things like that, and I'm good with rhythms and mixing and things like that. But also in terms of like our upbringings, it helps. I'm not saying it helps, but we're different ages, right? And but also we come from different areas of the country, and I feel like in terms of what we sample and like our influences for the sounds that we use and like the vibes that we go for, they're all so jumbled, and now we live in a very Latin area. So all
Mhm.
of our like childhood upbringings are mixed with like the area that we live in now, mixed with the shows that we go to. So it's all a big melting pot. Very, very much a New York City, USA sort of thing.
I like that. Where would you guys say you draw a lot of your inspiration when you're making music today?
We just try to find something that is like, I don't know, like a sample or someone that we've heard a lot lately, or just something that the one thing that we hear, just some one thing, and then we try to write around that idea or write around that
Okay.
concept.
Yeah, we're very much about keeping our tracks simple right now.
Mhm.
Like not trying to put too much into it. Everything's very stripped back these days. It's all about keeping it simple, especially for social media and Instagram, which also presents its own problems. Like writing simple music is really hard. Like you'd think it's easy. No, it's not easy. It's actually really hard to make something that's simple and still catchy and still unique. Um, so yeah, like Ryan said, we'll just try to focus on one thing. We'll find a really cool sample and use it. We'll find a cool vocal and use it, or just like even one top loop that we're
Mhm.
inspired by, just like some drums, and we'll just kind of write around that.
That's cool. That's interesting. I haven't heard anyone say that's how they go about it, but that's cool. That makes a lot of sense. I like that.
Yeah,
It's
for
just
for
easy
I
for
mean, we
us.
can't we can write where we just
Mhm.
sit down in front of a DAW and just toss stuff in there until a
Mhm.
song appears. But like if you're inspired by something, or if you have half an idea like written in your head first before you go to the drawing board, in my opinion, that helps a lot.
Yeah,
Oh, for
sometimes if you
sure.
just sit in front of a computer, like you'll just get stuck in this like, this is all I have in front of me, and it's just very hard to write like that. At least for me, it's very hard to write
Yeah.
like that. So I would come with something that I'm kind of
Yeah.
when I listen on the train in music, I get on the train, I listen to something, go, oh, that's cool. Maybe we could sample that, or
Mhm.
maybe we should do something that's similar to this, or
Well, that's why we started off like writing a lot of bootlegs. We bootlegged a lot of classic tracks like, Satisfaction. I
Mhm.
remember a couple others that I can't think of right now because you have me on the spot. Um,
we
but
better off alone.
Better Off Alone. Yeah, like we're just big into the samples that we hear, and also um something that we know will be good for the rave scene. Although I have to say it's very interesting picking samples these days because all the ravers are now old, and there's like 18-year-old ravers, but also like
Yep.
40 ravers. So it's like I don't know what people that are
Mhm.
18 listen to, and I don't know whether the people that are 40 listen to the same stuff that the 18-year-olds listen to. Like I just don't know. So
And it goes show to show too. Like we'll play a show and we'll hear like, oh, play a Satisfaction remix we did, and it's like everyone loves it, and there's probably
Mhm.
some people are like, what is this?
yeah, we play it
So
somewhere
it's
and
like,
it's like,
okay.
oh, the kids don't know it. It's like, all right.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Damn, that makes me feel old right there. People not knowing that song.
I mean, yeah, there's a couple times we played some of our bootlegs that we think are
Mhm.
gonna go off, and people are like, I don't think I know this one. It's like I'll go find
Man, it's
myself.
too funny. What? So you guys have been in music for a while now. What's some advice you wish you heard when you were first getting into the music industry?
I would say I wish somebody had told me to focus on the branding and the social media just as much as the music when we were getting started, because it's like just as important, or if not more important right now.
I think, yeah, more important right now than even when we started. When we started, there was no TikTok, there was no Instagram was like kind of a thing, but not really.
Mhm.
So I'd say that social media is super important. I think the other thing too is that if you want to get good at it, you just have to spend a lot of time. Just accept that you're going to be bad at writing music for a long time, and so you keep doing it and do it as much as you can, and then eventually you'll get good.
Yeah.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
that. What are some things you guys have coming up this year that you're pretty excited about?
Got a ton of unreleased tracks. We got one coming out in mid-March. March 17th is our next release. I won't spoil it because it's not announced yet, but it's on one of our favorite artist labels, and we're very
Oh,
stoked about
nice.
that. And then we're going to be announcing like a little mini tour for the spring. Nothing too crazy. Like I told you before, we started rolling. We've been in the studio heavy this year trying to write a bunch of music, because last year was our first time ever touring, and we also both work jobs, right? So between touring and writing music and working, it was just like a completely full schedule. So this year I'm hoping to have our releases lined up, then we can go on tour, like not have to worry about taking the time to play the shows, etc., and doing all that, and still being able to put out a bunch of music.
I like that. One
Yeah.
question we always ask people with moon landing, we're really, really big on gratitude and just being thankful for all the good things we have in life. So, what are some things that each of you guys are grateful for inside and outside of music?
So inside of music would definitely be our team right now, our manager Mario.
Especially
he's been
Mario.
spending so much time on this project, asked for nothing. Really, we wouldn't be where we are without Mario. Also, like Josiah, who's our new videographer, photographer. He's been on the road with us for 5 months or so. He's been to like every one of our shows, and it's completely like redone the way that we do our content, redone the way that we view our branding, etc. So those people for inside the project. And then I guess outside of the project, somewhat outside, would be we're each married, so our wives are like a constant source of support for us all the time, telling us to focus, telling us to keep going. So that for me, for sure.
Yeah, the wives actually also contribute musically too. They both have done vocals for our tracks.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, so it's been great. And other people I'd say we could thank someone we've gotten close to in the past year would be Sid. He lives here in New York. We got out and met with him at shows. He's put a bunch of our music out. He's just super nice. We have a track coming in with him later this year, so it's gonna be a good year for us because of people like Sid. And I think Sid is a huge reason why we're doing, we have a little more of a direction, because he's been such a good mentor and a friend to us.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about direction and kind of where you guys see your project going. Like, what's a big goal that you guys have for the project in this next year or so?
Oh man, I feel like this is something we don't do enough. I feel like we should sit down every couple months and like plan out our
Yeah.
goals. I don't know. We're just like hanging on, just trying to
Yeah.
do one
That's
thing
what
at a
this
time.
interview is for, I guess.
Yeah. You're making me think.
I think there's one that's a big one for us is both of us making this a full-time thing, because right now it's
Yeah.
it's not quite there. It's almost there, but
Maybe
On
if
the
we did
cusp of it.
Manhattan,
maybe if we lived in like
anywhere else in the
rural
country.
America, we'd be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But just making it a full-time thing and touring more, and we're really, really trying to make that happen this year, because we love doing it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, that's what both of us want to be. So
I want some rolling papers with my face on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
how like Chris,
that's a goal for me. Yeah.
like how Chris like got those baby Jeters that were Chris like
That's
Brandon.
right. Yeah, those are fire. Those are so.
I love that. I could see it. Hey, if you make it happen, I'll be the first one to buy them.
Hey, bro, I'll come over to you. Get this siphoned up. It'll be a good time, man.
I love it. I love it. All right. One other question I really like to ask artists, especially people who've been in the scene for a minute. If you guys could shout out a couple artists that are probably on the more up and coming side of things that maybe most people wouldn't know about, who are some people that you would shout out?
Oh man. We got to do Subshift. He's been blowing up recently, like UK guy who was in our production streams for a while during COVID. Our buddy Danner has been blowing up. He's doing like some minimal UK sort of stuff. Our buddy All Talk has been crushing it.
Gallo.
Moose has
Mhm.
been crushing it. Obviously people know Kyle Walker, but he's
Yep.
been on the not for sure.
One of our other good friends, Cloverdale. I mean, he's kind of on the up
Cloverdale's
and up.
also been crushing.
He just played in Arizona.
And genuinely one of the nicest people in the world.
Yeah.
Let's see who else. I think I'd have
I'm
to
blanking.
like scroll through my Discord or like my Instagram and like come back to you on that, because there's literally like hundreds of people that are on the up and up, and like people that we've been chatting with since COVID. Who else?
Econova.
Econova for sure.
Yep.
Econova.
He's an Arizona local out here, actually.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
met on Groove Cruise. He's such a nice
Such a
person.
sweetheart too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ranger Truco's been blowing
Mm.
up and well deserved. Yeah, man, there's a ton of
So
people
many.
that are like, you know, either just started during COVID or like started taking it very seriously during COVID, and are just now like starting to really get their release schedule filled up.
Yeah.
You know, like that.
There's
Yeah.
so much talent out there. It's
There's so
insane.
much. I mean,
And
it's ridiculous.
there's room for everybody too, because not
Mhm.
all of us do the same thing. You know, we're not the same as anybody else. You know,
Exactly.
everyone else we just mentioned, the closest person I'd say we are too is Cloverdale, and even then he's, you know, got this more like heavier rave thing than what we
Mhm.
have going on. So
There's so much room for everybody to eat in this industry. Everybody just there's more than enough space. There's no reason to compete, in my opinion.
and I honestly, when we
Like
meet
that.
artists,
It's good attitude to have.
everyone's super nice. Everyone's super nice. When we were on Groove Cruise, it was just everywhere was super nice in Groove Cruise.
You're
All
gonna
the
have
artists.
you're gonna have a blast on Groove Cruise, bro.
I'm so excited. I know we were talking a little bit beforehand about Groove Cruise. I want to hear a little bit about your guys' experience on that trip because that was recent. That was just in the last couple of weeks here. I'm like I mentioned before, I'm going next year, so I'm super excited for that. But I'm curious. I want to hear about your
Well,
guys'
I mean, first of
experience and what
all,
it was
I
like.
had no idea what to expect because one, I'd
Mhm.
never been on a cruise, and two, I'd never been
Oh
on Groove
wow,
Cruise.
okay,
I'd never been
that's
on
a
a
good first cruise, man.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go on like a normal cruise with yelling and screaming kids anymore. You know, it's like this is the only kind of cruise I want to go on.
yeah,
Mhm.
yelling at screaming ravers instead.
Yeah, it was amazing. Honestly, it was not what I expected at all. It was a lot of fun. Music 24/7. It's a really bonding experience, especially because you get to hang out with fans and you get to hang out with
Yeah,
artists.
there's no like backstage, right? So all the
Mhm.
fans, all the artists, everyone is just all together hanging out. You could just go to the buffet, like your favorite artist will just be there, like getting some chicken tenders, and you're like, oh
That's so
shit,
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then or it's just like anytime there's a set, you can go back anytime and take a nap any time of day, which is fantastic. You can't do that at like EDC Orlando, take a
Mhm.
nap in the middle of the day.
And it's not like a camping festival. There's actual showers and stuff. So, you know.
Yeah, so there's also you can't leave because you're on a boat. So there's ups and downs to it. But we went to Lvnding, which is an island off of Haiti, or just like a little
Yeah,
peninsula of Haiti, and it was sick.
It was
sick.
amazing.
I would do it again for sure.
We got to play in the casino one night. We played it right after Gene Ferris until like 5:30 in the morning.
damn.
It was great. It was so much fun. I couldn't recommend it more for anybody to go. If you want to go to a festival, it's actually probably even a better deal going to that festival considering like food and stuff's included.
Yeah, it's a totally different vibe. I mean, it's like there's just no negative vibes there at all. Nobody is, you don't see anybody crying because they lost their friends or whatever,
Yeah.
or any of that. It's just a good time.
Is that your guys' favorite festival you played in the last year then?
Ooh.
I
Well,
don't,
that one's different,
it's
right?
it's
Like I
different.
wouldn't say, I mean, EDC Vegas is like the
Yeah.
craziest
Oh, yeah.
festival we ever played. Beyond Wonderland at the Gorge was the most beautiful thing we've ever played.
Yep. I remember that
And
was the first time I saw you guys out there. It was awesome.
that's right. That's right. I wish we had gotten to hang out, man. Next time,
Yeah.
next time we'll definitely
We'll
link up.
go back in time and we'll introduce ourselves 8 months earlier, I guess.
Yeah, there we
That's
go.
the only way to do it, man. And then I would say, yeah, and then beyond. So yeah, those, and then yeah, Groove Cruise is probably like the best in terms of vibes.
Yeah, I mean it was fun going to like also EDC Orlando. We did last year and the year before. The year before, Ian couldn't come, and we brought a cardboard cutout of him, which is
Yeah, my
hilarious.
Oh, I
manager,
love that.
a 6 foot cardboard cut out of me.
And my brother still has it at his place, which is great because I grew up in Florida, so my brother has it in his house.
Nice.
And then we went back and played this past year, and it was awesome. We got to play Stereo Loom, it was great.
Yeah, I got to go link up with my cutout sometime soon.
I know. He has some candy.
Yeah, he got candy. He's missing
has-
an arm. He got someone drew a nice mustache on me.
He has like
Oh,
face
nice.
tattoos. Yeah.
Apparently, I was getting twerked on. People were giving me like
Yeah, there were,
little
yeah.
bumps and stuff. So it was a good day for me. Apparently,
Oh man, cardboard cutout you was living out here.
Paper Mario life out here.
Yeah.
I love that. So, one of the things that seems so cool about Groove Cruise was one of those things that you guys are mentioning that like you could literally just be walking through the hall and your favorite artist is right there. So, like the opportunity for cool fan interactions is really prominent in a place like that. Do you guys have a fan interaction over the last 10 years that has really stuck out to you or is a really memorable one that's you're never going to forget?
A couple. I mean, like a couple months ago, we were playing in Fresno, and somebody came up, didn't introduce himself, but just like asked me to put out my hand and then gave me some candy that they made. They're like, I made this specifically for you. It should like make you feel better. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so nice. They're like, we've been waiting for you guys to come to Fresno. Oh, sorry, that's an alarm to come and meet with you. Yeah, so something like that was a great experience. Someone asked me for my autograph the other day, which was really awkward. I didn't really know what to do. I was like, you don't need my fucking autograph, but all right, I guess
Yeah.
just take it. No, I mean, literally anytime someone hits us up to say we love your music, thank you so much, or just comes up to say the same, that's really all we care about. I don't need anyone asking for my autograph. I don't need anybody offering me things. I just want to know that the music that we make is appreciated and people like it and it makes people feel good. That's all I give a shit about.
Yeah, I think that's the main goal is when you meet people is just that they like what you do. And I also just like meeting people because it's just nice knowing that, there are normal people like me and him out there that want
I
to go
wouldn't
out and
say
have.
we're normal, but yeah.
I wouldn't say everyone else is normal either, but so, but like there's a group of people that, like, for instance, there's a group of people that come out to our shows in LA that have come out to almost every one of our shows. They drove to Vegas for a show of ours, and it's like
San Diego.
San Diego. I mean, it's like, to me, that's just it's amazing to me that people would do that for us, and it's just like it's humbling in a way. It's very nice.
What's your guys' favorite part of your jobs right now? What you're doing?
In terms of music or our day jobs?
Well, I meant in terms of music. What do you guys do? What's your day jobs?
I do IT work for a school.
Okay.
It's very, very boring for the most part. But it pays the bills. Eventually we won't be doing that. You got a more interesting job than me though.
Yeah, I work in my family business, so I'm an environmental, I guess, educator for an environmental, like I guess an educator for an environmental advocacy group is what I would say. So
Okay,
we talk
cool.
about environmental sustainability, and like it's all connected through music and sound and the environment. And so we perform in schools and libraries and camps and stuff. And Brian does it too. He's part of our ensemble.
What's your guys' favorite part about your jobs then?
So about that job would be, I do enjoy getting to foster some sort of sense of care for the environment. I mean, I'm a big person for environmental conservation, et cetera. I grew up like that. So for me, being able to foster that interest in the next generation of kids who are going to be way more screwed than we are in terms of what's going on in the planet,
Yeah.
that feels good. It feels like I'm actually leaving something behind other than our music that we create. But in terms of like my job musically, which for Truth and Lies, traveling is awesome. I love being able to travel. I love being able to eat at all these restaurants. I love being able to see my friends across the country that I've just been talking to on Instagram, etc. And most importantly, I love to see people that love our music, like people jamming out to our music. If I look in the crowd and someone's singing a song that we put out a couple of years ago, it's like, I'm a happy man. I'm good.
Yeah. I think for me is I feel like there's a lot of imposter syndrome of like us, and then we go to a show, it's like a little bit of validation. Like it just makes me feel good that people like our music, and if people play music on Spotify, it doesn't mean they like it. And then seeing people at a show go crazy over something to play it, it's just like sometimes it gets chills. You get chills, and it's just like
100%.
I don't ever want to take that for granted because that's amazing to me. It's my favorite part.
I like that. Well, you guys are mentioned traveling. I'm sure you guys do a ton of that. Do you guys have a memorable travel story?
I have one about Ian. We played in Chicago. We played in Chicago New Year's Eve on 2020
into
2021 into
2021, probably.
And we played and we got done with our set, and Ian's like, "You ready to go back to the hotel?" I was like, "Yeah, fine, we'll go back." And then he left a few minutes earlier than me. He was waiting in the car for me. I grabbing our stuff, and I walk into the car, and he goes, "I don't feel so good." And I'm like, "What's going on?" And turns out he got roofied, and it was no joke. And it was wild because I felt so bad. I was taking care of him on the flight back, and it was just a rough flight back and everything. And don't roofie people. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Just offer them, if you want to offer them some drugs, offer them. But
Yes,
don't roofie people. And it's
that was not a good experience.
That was not a good experience. But we've
I'm
never
sorry
had
that happened to you, man. Damn.
we've never had anything else like that happen. So
That I say that that would be the worst of the experiences. The best would be oof. I don't know. Every time we travel with the whole squad, right? Like when we get to bring our manager Mario and our videographer Josiah along with us, and we have the four of us, sometimes our wives will come on the road, like if we go to Miami. That's just a blast. That's just some good old fashioned fun. We don't it doesn't even matter where we are. We could be in the middle of nowhere and we'll have a good time together.
I'd say a good one is the road trip we did in Florida.
Yeah,
We
Florida was
played.
a good one. Boston was a good trip. Anytime we go to California, there's so much good food. I don't know. I love traveling. I hate being on planes, but I love traveling.
I'll tell you a fun one was where we played EDC Orlando. We played the Corona Beach stage on Friday, and then we played Stereo Bloom Saturday. And as soon as we got done, we had to go back to the airport and fly back because we were playing that night at Webster Hall. So we played 2 shows on one day, and we'd never done that before, and it was kind of wild and a lot of fun and exhausting. But now I see when artists do 2 shows in a day, I don't like. I was like, how do they do that? And I'm like, oh, it's not great.
Yeah, you just don't.
The shows are so much fun, so you don't think about it like that. It's
Mhm.
like the flight and the rushing and all that stuff is, I like to hang around afterwards and say
Yeah.
hi to people and stuff. But like we got to do that. It was kind of exhilarating to play 2 shows in one day and loads of fun.
Damn. That was fun stuff. What's best restaurant you guys ever had?
On tour or ever had is a good question.
Ooh, I guess those are different questions. If you have an answer for both, let's hear both.
So on tour, I would say we stopped at this place in Chicago called The Girl and the Goat.
So
Okay.
good.
That was some of the best food I've ever had in my life. Like
What kind of food
easily.
is it?
It's like a tapas place, but they do kind of like multicultural tapas. So there was like
It was like a lot of Asian fusion stuff,
yeah,
but
there's some Indian food.
not like it wasn't Asian food. It was like Asian fusion into stuff that you would already know.
Yeah, they would have like naan bread, and then they would have things like lamb, but it was not wouldn't taste like Asian food. It was kind of all over the map, but it's so good. The goat was delicious, of course.
Ooh.
Best food I've ever had ever. Oh, that's rough. Ooh, I don't know, Linus. What do you think, buddy?
He's like my last meal. Last meal.
He desperately.
Linus is so cute. It's a cute dog.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man. Thank you.
Um,
All right, go ahead, buddy. You already had your cameo. Um, I don't know. Best food, like maybe not like the greatest restaurant I ever went to, but one of my favorite meals. I have family from Argentina, so whenever I go down there, they're huge into like eating meat, and you just get a huge tray of meat, and like you'll just burn through it in an hour, and you have the meat sweats, but it's just the best. It's just the best. So good.
Some other places I think we gone to on the road that were good. We played in Boston, and the promoters for the show we played at the Boston took us to this restaurant called Empire, and they just kept bringing food out, and we just couldn't stop eating. It just felt like it was
owned by the owner of the Grand, so it's kind of like one of those combo
Okay.
things, the restaurant and the club. It's kind of like a Tao group sort of deal, but yeah, it's called
food
the
was really good.
Empire, and the club in Boston was called the
Grand.
Grand, and it was sick.
that was
sick.
that was great.
Super good.
And then my favorite food that I've ever had is I used to eat. There's a place I used to go to all the time when I was in college in Louisiana called it was called the Chimes, and it's like a staple in Baton Rouge where I went to college, and it's just every bit of Cajun food you'd ever want. And that kind of got me. I would say it's like something that I would have one memory of. I have like tons of memories of going there because it was like the local place, but the food was so good and it was affordable, and it's what like got my interest sparked in eating food because I grew up in Florida. I used to eat like basic stuff, and then I went to college and it was like, here's all this spicy Cajun food. And I was like, I had never had any of it before.
We also like go out for a fancy meal here occasionally, or when we're on the road, because
Yeah, we like to treat ourselves sometimes.
Why
do
not?
like-
Hell yeah, treat yourself.
yeah.
Sometimes the airport food is so bad that you have to
Mhm.
you have to do a nice dinner to make
Oh
up for
yeah.
it.
Man, I went to I was in Reno at the airport and I paid $31 for a Subway sandwich out there. was-
I'm
$31.
31. I had to look at the receipt. I was like, there's no way that was real, but it was real. It was just they had the price hiked way up because it's at an airport and you have no other choice.
a Subway, not even in New York. It's not even close to the same price.
Yeah, no, it was
That's
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah, it was insane. All right, last question for you guys before we wrap things up here. When all of it's said and done and you guys retire from music, what are you guys hoping to be remembered by?
I don't think I'm ever going to retire from new music Is it just?
Do people retire?
I don't know, I
anymore?
don't
Is that
know.
a
Well,
thing?
I guess more so, I guess like retiring from like doing shows and things like
Okay.
that. Like I'm sure you guys aren't gonna be touring forever.
No, don't
I don't know,
I don't
maybe.
know. I mean, I might, bro.
I might.
I love playing
I
shows.
bet you if asked Tiesto that question 30 years ago, he'd probably like, no, I wouldn't, and how he's still doing it.
Yeah, you look at these rockers.
True.
I'm still playing. No, that is a good. What do I want to be remembered by? I mean, obviously, I feel like the cop out answer would be our music.
Mhm.
But it would also be great to, over the course of our career, offer something more than music. You know, I don't know if it's through like education of some sort or like an app or something. Like, I don't know what, but it would be nice to offer something more than just having left behind some tunes that people listen to.
I think one thing I'd like to go about like what we did over the pandemic was just we helped people producing music. We just gave them feedback and stuff, and we just want to be known as like good people that care about everyone else. That's just who we are. That's
Good answer.
I mean,
People that helped the whole scene, right? Like people
Yeah.
that wanted to bring the scene up rather than just lift themselves up.
yeah,
If we're looked at like that, then I think that's a win in our book.
yeah. I always wanted to be a teacher from when I was growing up. I always wanted to teach music, so doing anything in that realm, just mentoring people, whatever it may be. That's I want to be just remembered for being the people that everyone will come to and we can give advice or just be a good human. That's really I don't know how to answer it any better than that.
Yeah. I want to have the best memes in the music industry.
Yeah.
The best memes in the okay.
There
Yeah.
you go.
That's a
Although
solid goal. I think you can make it happen.
I think Omnom probably got me, and so does Lucati.
True. Yeah, those guys are meme
I think
legends.
it's Dropbox, so it's okay.
Yeah, Lucati uses Dropbox, so we'll
Forgive him.
All right, man. Anything you guys want to shout out before we wrap things up here?
We got a little tour coming in the spring, so keep your eyes out for that. And also, if you're in LA, not next weekend, but the one after, we're playing with Jaws at Avalon. He's got an off the deep end show, so we're very stoked for that. It's going to be a good time. We love LA. Gonna eat some In-N-Out. Gonna
Yeah.
eat some KBBQ.
Other shows before our tour, we're gonna be doing Music Week. So you'll see we'll announce some stuff for Music Week. We have a couple shows lined up for that.
Miami Music Week.
Miami Music Week, I should say. And then we're also doing another show in New York, which we can announce on Monday, but we can't announce now.
So yeah, we have music coming out and we're playing shows. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Two things that DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I know, right?
Yeah, music that's coming out. We have something coming out March 17th on a label that we've been excited about releasing on for a while. And we have a couple remixes we did for some people, and we have a collab we did with Sid, which will come out sometime later this year. Everything else is just kind of up in the air. So
Yeah.
Nice. Lots of exciting stuff coming up. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys taking the time to sit down and chat with me for a little bit, get to know you guys a little bit better. If there's nothing else you guys want to touch on or shout out, we'll go ahead and wrap things up here then.
Yeah, my dude, it's been a blast. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for having us a couple weeks ago to do that mix. We got to put all of our IDs in there, which we never really do for mixes. So
go listen to it.
yeah,
So it
go
has-
listen to
Yeah,
the Moon.
phenomenal mix, by the way. That's probably one of my favorite ones that I think we've done on our series so far.
Oh, stop it!
Thank
You're
you.
gonna make me blush.
I think it's all I might remember correctly.
I think it's all our IDs. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure. It'd be like
So-
one other tune. Hey, anyway, thank you so much for your time, man. And any questions or whatever, anyone's feel free to hit us up on Instagram. We're always
Yeah,
happy.
what best place to reach you guys? Is it Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram.
We try to answer as many DMs as possible, although now it's getting a little tough because
I answer everyone. It just might take me a while.
Yeah,
But I
Yeah.
answer every hit we get.
and we'll see you in Arizona when we come back out there.
For sure, man. We'll definitely plan something.
And
All
when
right.
you're hit us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all right. For those of y'all still listening, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of The Launchpad. My name is Grant Soffer, and this was Truth and Lies.